guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called 16 Unbelievable Secrets of the Netherlands, Europe's most eccentric country. I don't know, like in one context, there's like unbelievable secrets. I think the Netherlands is a very interesting country. I think there's like a lot of, like, they're known obviously for like their tulips, their windmills, their clocks, and by being like a very friendly, like bicycle friendly place. But I don't know, like, I wouldn't call them like eccentric, but apparently they are. So I don't know what to expect. What kind of secrets we're gonna be learning about this country? I don't know, but let's check it out and comment, like, and subscribe.
Don't let the size of the Netherlands fool you. It's a heavyweight on the world stage.
Yeah.
This country built empires, invented household technology, and even inspired America's...
Which one? I'm trying to tell. Do they make it like the coffee maker? I don't know why my mind went there. I have no idea.
Independence.
Oh.
Buckle up.
Okay, it sounds weird. They inspired the American independence, but they were like, because why? They were an empire. I would assume they weren't like supporting them, like separating from the British. They were like, no, stay there. We don't want to put ideas in your brain.
For 15 Dutch facts that will change the way you see history forever. Please note, there may not be a wealth of original video footage from the Netherlands in this episode. So many scenes are illustrated with images rather than video clips. I hope this does not take away from your enjoyment, and I warmly welcome any corrections or additions, whether visual or textual, as there may be some mistakes. I read and reply to every comment. Fact 1. Tulip Tribute, the Netherlands' annual gift to Canada.
To give them tulips?
Every spring, the Netherlands sends Canada a gift of 20,000 tulip bulbs.
Why?
A tradition that began in the aftermath of World War II. This floral gesture is a heartfelt thank you to Canada for sheltering the Dutch royal family during the war, and for the role Canadian soldiers played in liberating the Netherlands.
Oh, the Canadian like help? I had no idea. I was assuming like it's similar to like the poppy that the British wear, sort of, like not the same, but maybe similar. It's always flowers and wars.
The blooming tulips each May in Ottawa are not just beautiful; they're a living
and it's in a specific city in Canada. Oh my God, that's amazing!
Symbol of friendship and gratitude between the two nations, celebrated annually at the Canadian Tulip Festival.
There's a Canadian Tulip Festival. I want to go so bad. I'm wondering if like people know that enjoy this festival. No, like the Netherlands sends this and they know the history. I'm wondering if everyone knows.
Fact 2. Dutch genius, a world of inventions. When it comes to shaping the modern world, the Dutch have punched far above their weight in the invention department.
Well, they weren't punching above their weight if they actually invented them.
The Netherlands is the birthplace of the compact disc, thanks to the tech giants at Philips revolutionizing the way we listen to music.
Well, I think, no, still, like, they still sell CDs, but I'm wondering if, like, again, that's a thing of, like, a little bit of the past. I think, like, who listens to CDs these days and who's buying them? A lot of people, but I think it's more like collectors, and you're only buying, like, specific, like, CDs that you actually, like, really do enjoy. Because, like, where are you going to play them? I think vinyl is more popular just because it's different, because CDs, like, we've been almost, like, a CD player, like, in this day and age. Maybe some old cars.
Dutch inventor Jaap Hartsen brought Bluetooth to life, making wireless communication part of daily life.
Why did I thought that was Danish? Because of, I don't know why I thought that was Danish.
Wi-Fi, something we all now take for granted, traces its origins to the Dutch engineer Vic Hayes, often dubbed the father of Wi-Fi.
I'm wondering, like, I wouldn't even know where to start, like, explain Wi-Fi to me. Like, it sounds crazy. It's just something that we take for granted, but it's like, I don't even know how it works.
In the realm of science, Dutch spectacles gave rise to both the telescope and the microscope in the early 17th century.
I think, like, a lot of countries claim this, I think there's, like, several people that came up with, like, hey, we invented, like, the telescope. They're sort of, like, claiming them.
Opening up new frontiers in astronomy and biology.
Of course.
Cornelis Drebbel invented the first practical submarine in the early
I love that name. It's just like very Dutch.
1600s, taking human exploration
And was that the actual submarine? It looks so small. I was so scared to get in that submarine. It's tiny. Like, who even fits there? Like, a child? Like, tall people and Dutch people tend to be tall. So, it's like, who's fitting in this?
under the waves. The Dutch were also pioneers in safety. The modern fire hose, which saves countless lives, first appeared in the Netherlands in the late 17th century.
Okay.
In transportation, the world's first four-wheel
I'm wondering, like, what did people use before then? They were just, like, buckets of water?
drive car hit the streets of Amsterdam at the start of the 20th century, proving the Dutch talent for engineering.
A lot of talent,
At the start of the 20th century, proving the Dutch talent for engineering. The Dutch stock market, established in Amsterdam in the early 1600s, was the world's very first.
I'm sorry, 1600. That was where the stock market was invented. What were they trading? Like sugar and salt? That's crazy.
Official stock exchange, shaping global finance.
Granted, I do not know how much like the stock market and how it works, but I know there's like screens and they're like these stocks have gone up or down. How was it done back in those days? Like there was this like the town like screaming was like, "Hey, the stocks are down! The stocks are down!"
The Dutch even gave us the oldest national anthem still in use, Het Wilhelmus.
That's so nice.
Back to the late 1500s.
It's crazy that they're still using it. Like, that's incredible.
Well as the world's oldest tricolour flag.
Oh.
In short, the Dutch knack for innovation has influenced nearly every aspect of our daily lives, from science and music to finance and national identity. Fact 3. Dutch Beats, home of the world's top DJs.
Oh, okay.
The Netherlands is a global powerhouse in electronic music,
Really?
producing a remarkable number of world-famous DJs.
I did not know that.
Names like Tiesto, Armin van Buuren, Martin Garrix, Hardwell, Afrojack, and Don Diablo have dominated international charts.
Yeah, a few of them, I think I've heard of them.
And festival stages. Dutch DJs are known for their crowd-pleasing energy and innovation, regularly topping DJ Mag's annual rankings and headlining massive events from Las Vegas to Ibiza.
Yeah, it makes sense. There's sort of like places where I would assume that like there's a lot of DJs that work. I didn't know that they had like a magazine. That's incredible.
Fact 4. King's Day, the biggest party in Orange.
Oh my god, I want to go so bad.
Day, or Koningsdag, is the Netherlands' most vibrant national holiday, celebrated each year on the 27th of April
Those are the king and queen, right?
King Willem-Alexander's birthday. The entire country.
Wait, but like the king, I'm guessing was like an old king, not not the king like that they have in this day, right now. So when is it the birthday? Like they're honoring a birthday of someone that was born like 300 years ago, but obviously it celebrates the actual king. Like, but that's not his birthday because obviously, like, he has another birthday. Is that it?
Transforms into a sea of orange as people flood the streets wearing the national color.
It looks so
taking
fun.
Part in massive outdoor parties, concerts, and flea markets.
It looks incredible. I want to go so bad.
Amsterdam's canals overflow with decorated boats, and the atmosphere is pure joy.
It looks so incredibly fun.
For one day, everyone in the Netherlands becomes a reveler, making it one of the world's most unique and joyful street
Oh my god, I love it!
Fact 5. New York's Dutch beginnings, from New Amsterdam to the Big Apple.
That's why, they have New York has a Harlem, they have a Harlem, and a lot of, like, places for, like, the Van Burens and stuff, New York was founded by the Dutch, and that's why, also, like, the architecture sort of, like, is similar a little bit.
Long before skyscrapers dotted the Manhattan skyline, New York was a humble Dutch settlement known as New
It looked very different.
Amsterdam, founded in the early 17th century. Dutch traders established their colony at the southern tip of Manhattan, bringing with them their customs, architecture, and business savvy. The legendary Peter Minuit.
Actually, if I'm thinking about this, that makes sense. Like, that's why they have like the stock market, and obviously, like, they, like, I can see, like, oh, that's where it started. Not really, but maybe their influence was wide, and even this day and age. That's why New York has like the stock exchange.
Famously purchased Manhattan Island, and the colony thrived under the rule of Governor Peter Stuyvesant. Even after the English takeover in 1664, Dutch influences remained,
Yeah.
reflected in local place names, city planning, and even traditions.
Oh, like what?
The Dutch legacy is still felt today as New York stands as a bustling symbol of international trade,
Oh my god.
multiculturalism,
Okay, so I guess right.
and the pioneering spirit brought over by its original settlers.
It's true. Like, if you take them like separate, you would say like, oh, they don't have a lot of like things in common. But actually, I think like no. If you take into account like the origin, like it's like actually I can see the similarities.
Fact 6.
Obviously, one's a country and the other is just a city. But anyway,
Dutch pioneers in space, reaching for the stars. The Netherlands has a proud legacy in space exploration.
that's insane considering they're so tiny that it's like, wait, why don't you have a space program?
Playing an active role within the European Space Agency and
Okay.
producing astronauts who have truly made their mark. Wubbo Ockels became the first Dutchman in space aboard the Space Shuttle in 1985,
Okay.
inspiring a nation. André Kuipers followed, spending months aboard the International Space Station and conducting vital scientific research.
That's crazy.
Dutch technology and innovation continue to support key space missions, proving that even a small country can achieve big things beyond Earth's atmosphere.
Well, yeah, like no country is small enough, but I'm wondering if it's like one, if they only have like Dutch astronauts or they also have like a space program, or is it like with several countries like in the EU that sort of like get band together and sort of like fund this?
Fact 7. Early allies. Dutch support
Yeah.
for
How
American
come?
independence.
Maybe it's because they hated they hated the British, so they were like, yes, you should like gain independence from them.
The Netherlands played a pivotal role in American history, being the very first country to formally recognize the United States
Oh.
as an independent nation in the late 18th century.
Oh my god, they were the first.
Dutch-held St. Eustatius famously fired the first salute to the American flag in
Oh.
1776,
True.
signaling diplomatic support.
I hadn't thought of this.
Dutch
Yes.
bankers also helped finance the young United States during its struggle for independence.
Oh my god, so even then they had money.
This early partnership created a bond between the two countries that endures to this day, proving the Dutch commitment to freedom and international friendship.
Yeah.
Fact 8. Dutch in disguise, everyday English words with Dutch roots.
Okay.
Many words we use in English every day have surprising Dutch origins. Take cookie, which comes from the Dutch word koekje, or coleslaw, from koolsla,
Oh my
meaning
God!
cabbage salad.
This is mind
Even
blowing.
Yankee is believed to have Dutch roots, likely from the name Jan Kees.
Oh
Words
my
like
God!
dollar, stoel, and sea bass also come straight from the Dutch language.
Wait, but like they're pronounced the same, or are they written like almost the same? That's crazy. I thought it was like the other way around. I don't know why.
These linguistic influences are leftovers from the era when Dutch traders and settlers were busy shaping the new
Of
world,
course.
quietly leaving their mark on the vocabulary we still use centuries later.
Isn't that beautiful?
Fact 9. Dutch Golden Age, a mighty maritime power and global legacy. In the 17th century, the Netherlands stood as the world's pre-eminent maritime and economic superpower, a true giant
Which again, it's crazy considering the size.
of the Golden Age. The Dutch Navy boasted the largest fleet on the seas, outclassing all rivals and enabling the Dutch to establish a globe-spanning empire.
Maybe it's just because like again, their condition of like being surrounded by water, they were like, we have to go outside and conquer other places. And also like we're good at ships because we're surrounded by water, so maybe that's it.
From colonizing Indonesia to landing in Australia, once dubbed New Holland, The Dutch left an unmistakable mark.
I did not know that they also came to Australia. I didn't know that. They sort of like, they conquered it? They did stuff over there? Because I thought it was like Scottish. There's like a lot of like Scottish descendants in Australia, but maybe that was like, obviously that was later on.
Mark on the world map. Even New Zealand owes its name to the Dutch province of Zeeland, honoring the country's royal heritage.
Yes, but once I named it, I was gonna say, yes, New Zealand, of course. It sounds so similar, like, it sounds like a Dutch word. Oh my god, why have never thought of this?
Dutch settlers founded iconic New York neighborhoods, naming Brooklyn after Brooklyn and Harlem after Harlem.
There's a Brooklyn in the Netherlands? That's crazy. Oh my god, I wanna look at pictures.
Both Dutch cities. During this era, Dutch merchants and explorers connected continents, created vast trading networks, and left their legacy in place names, cultures, and even languages
everywhere
on nearly every corner of the globe. The legacy of this mighty seafaring nation still shapes our modern world in ways both visible and hidden. Fact 10. The French king who won Dutch hearts, Louis Napoleon's unlikely reign. Few people realize that the first king of Holland was not Dutch, but the younger brother of Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte.
Oh.
Louis Napoleon arrived in the Netherlands.
That's crazy because I know that Napoleon's wife, one of the four wives, I think also funded like the royal house of like Sweden or something similar. But like that's crazy. Well, he was like, I mean, he was a very important guy in history. But wow, also like the influence is crazy.
In the early 19th century, and quickly became beloved for embracing Dutch language and culture. He took Dutch lessons, distributed aid to disaster victims, and even looked the other way on illegal trade with England, much to his brother's frustration. When Napoleon demanded 40,000 fresh Dutch troops for his armies, Louis dryly replied that there simply were not that many men left, thanks to earlier drafts.
Was it true?
Louis's reign ended after just a few years when Napoleon recalled him, disappointed in his loyalty to the Dutch rather than to France.
See, that's the thing with nepotism. Like you didn't arrive there by your own force, and they can just as easily as you got in, you can get out because they take you out.
Yet the Dutch were genuinely sad to see their caring king leave.
Yeah.
His time on the throne
was genuine.
Left a surprising legacy. The Dutch warmed to the idea of monarchy, paving the way for the Prince of Orange to become King Willem I when monarchy returned.
Okay, so it was because of them? Like, he was such a great king that people were like, actually, we want a king. Like, he did a good job.
Fact 11. Dutch education.
Crazy to think, like, so they owe, like, having a monarchy to France, basically. Well, technically, Italy. Well, no, it was course. Like, it wasn't Italy. It was France. Although technically, in spirit, Napoleon was sort of like Italian, but I know he was French.
Innovative schools and free rides for students. The Dutch education system stands out for its structure, accessibility, and progressive perks. Education is compulsory from the age of 5, but most children start primary school at 4.
Isn't that the norm everywhere, I think? Right? No?
After primary education, students move into one of several secondary tracks based on their academic interests and skills.
Okay, now that's
ranging from vocation.
Yeah, I think that's a little more. I'm thinking of like preschool, and it's not the same probably.
To university preparatory programs.
Yeah, and like kindergarten, they don't have that, I think.
This tailored approach ensures every child finds a path suited to their abilities.
As it should be.
The Netherlands also makes life easier for students by offering free public transport for those attending higher education. So getting to school or university is both easy and affordable.
Okay, not free, but extremely affordable. That's incredible because one of the actual, like, you know, it's like, oh, I can't actually get there because like the commute is too, it's like I don't have a bus, there's like no bus that passes through or whatever, and that's incredible because again, it's hard to actually get like that's a big hurdle like to jump for some people that don't have the means to actually go to a school or go to a university.
Buses, trams, and trains are packed with young learners, making daily commutes a breeze. Dutch schools often encourage creativity, independent thinking, and multilingualism.
That's what it should be.
Many students graduate
Yeah, I think like you have to a good teacher and probably a good school should foster, you thinking and not just like memorizing things.
fluent in English and at least one other language. With modern facilities,
I think also like I think that's the norm, like in theory. Like the law says this in I think in most places, but they actually take it into account.
teaching methods and supportive policies, Dutch education is considered one of Europe's best, setting up young people for lifelong success. Fact 12. Dutch retirement. Government-backed security for all. The Netherlands is known for its solid and straightforward retirement system, designed to support citizens through their golden years.
That's the
From the
ideal.
moment a person starts working, the government automatically enrolls them in the National Pension Scheme, called AOW. Contributions are deducted directly from salaries, so no one has to worry about setting up their own pension. Everything runs smoothly in the background. When Dutch
I love it because again, you don't have to like if you're responsible with money, like we're taking care of this.
residents reach retirement age, they receive a guaranteed state pension,
Yeah.
regardless of their job history or income level.
And is it the same pension for everyone, or it just depends obviously on like what kind of job have you had like throughout your whole life?
Many employers also provide additional private pension plans,
Okay.
creating a strong financial safety net.
Are the private ones better than the ones that the government does?
The process is remarkably hassle-free. Applications, calculations, and payments are handled efficiently by government agencies. This means retirees can look forward to a stable income, excellent healthcare benefits, and plenty of leisure time.
That's how it should be.
It's a system that has earned international respect for combining reliability, fairness, and peace of mind for every Dutch citizen.
Again, that would be like a dream.
Fact 13. Sinterklaas, the Dutch Santa who inspired a global legend.
Is Santa Dutch?
Long before Santa Claus soared through American Christmas tales, the Dutch were already celebrating Sinterklaas, a white-bearded saint who arrives each December on a steamboat from Spain.
Okay.
Dressed in bishop's robes
It got like wilder like as the sentence went on.
and riding a white horse, Sinterklaas brings gifts and sweets to well-behaved
Oh my god, the hat is like the hat that the Pope like wears, right? Oh, because he's a saint.
children, sparking excitement
The Pope is not a saint. Are those related? Like it's a Catholic thing?
across the Netherlands. The beloved holiday is full of songs, parades, and playful rhymes. Sinterklaas's helpers, called Zwarte
Is it during Christmas? Okay, and they don't have reindeers, they have like other people and elves. They have something else.
Piet, or Black Pete, have been the center of controversy in recent years due to their blackface costumes
Okay, yeah, that's
and
bad.
old racial stereotypes. While some see the tradition as innocent, others view it as offensive and
Yeah, I think like times has changed and people they consider it outdated and we're like the cultural view on these things has changed. So, has changed. So
outdated. This debate has sparked nationwide discussions and led to many changes, such as Soet Piet, who sports smudges instead of full blackface.
oh my god.
Regardless of the
I don't know if that's better. Maybe it's like, well, he's coming down the chimney. Although, like, in this case, like, he comes on a horse. So I don't know where the chimney comes in.
evolving tradition, Sinterklaas remains a cherished part of Dutch culture
I have so many questions
and
about
the
this.
true inspiration for the modern Santa Claus known worldwide.
Oh my god. I want to see a Santa Claus.
Fact 14. Dutch culture, directness, pragmatism, and the art of complaining.
The art of complaining.
Dutch
Is it
culture
an
is
art?
famously straightforward and refreshingly honest. If you ask for an opinion, be ready for the unvarnished truth.
Okay.
The Dutch take pride in their ability to offer constructive critique and don't shy away from saying what's on their mind, whether it's about politics, food, or everyday life.
Technically, that's what it should be, right? Because you're asking for someone's opinion and, you want the truth, right? Even though it hurts.
Complaining, or klagen, is practically a national pastime. But it's rarely just negativity. It's a way to bond, problem solve, and keep things running efficiently.
Okay.
Time is treated as a valuable asset in the...
So if you're complaining a lot, like, people are not going to be like, oh my God, here you go again. It's like, yes, go complain more. Is that the culture like over there?
Netherlands. So people dislike delays, pointless meetings, or beating around the bush.
Like wasting time.
Conversations are direct and efficient, focused on solutions rather than small talk. This pragmatic approach extends to all aspects of life, from
But it's good because it gets things done.
business to personal relationships, creating a culture where nothing is wasted. Not time, not words, and certainly not opportunities for improvement.
That's like, okay, strict.
Fact 15. Elfstedentocht, the legendary 11 cities ice skating tour.
Oh
One
my
of the most
God.
iconic Dutch traditions is the Elfstedentocht, or 11 cities tour, a nearly 200-kilometer ice skating marathon through the frozen canals and lakes of
love it.
Friesland. This epic race
You
connects
go in
11
one day?
historic towns and has become the stuff of legend, largely because it can only happen during the coldest winters when
Of
the
course.
ice is thick enough.
Hopefully.
The last Elfstedentocht was in 1997,
Oh, they don't
as
do
mild
it.
winters have made suitable conditions rare.
Oh no.
Each
Green
winter,
global warming.
as soon as the temperatures drop, excitement sweeps the country. Locals and ice masters anxiously measure the thickness of the ice, with entire villages competing to see who can skate first.
Oh my God.
The most
But it's like, it's not my fault that like the winter came early or winter came late. Why am I competing against you?
infamous race, known as the Hell of 63, saw bitter cold and fierce winds that turned the event into a true test of endurance.
Oh my God, okay, that
with
does
only
sound
a
nice.
fraction of the thousands of skaters finishing. The Elfstedentocht remains a cherished dream for Dutch skaters and spectators alike,
It's a little road, oh my God, that you have to skate on ice.
symbolizing grit, community spirit, and the magic of a Dutch winter.
Oh my God.
Thank you for exploring the incredible legacy of the Netherlands with me today. If you enjoyed these fascinating Dutch facts, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Andy Explores the World for more mind-blowing travel stories. Have you ever visited the Netherlands or discovered a Dutch influence in your own country? Drop your thoughts, questions, or extra fun facts in the comments below. I always love hearing from you. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and see you in the next adventure.
Okay, I think my favorite part of this was the winter traditions. I mentioned I want to go to the King's Day because I think it looks incredibly fun. The whole town celebrates, and not the town, the whole country celebrates, and it looks like a very fun. They have parades and they have foods and they're celebrating sort of Dutch culture. Although at least that's from my perspective. I know that technically they're celebrating the king, but I think I see it more as a celebration of Dutchness. It's the equivalent of maybe the 4th of July, an Independence Day. Although obviously they don't have an independence, but it's more about celebrating what the stuff of your own cultural sort of cultural things and things that make you feel Dutch or make you Dutch. So I would love to go to one of those things because it looks so incredibly fun. Everyone seems to be having such a good time. And it's less about the king, at least from what I've seen. It's obviously the king is part of it, but it's less about the king itself and more about you celebrating Dutchness, and so orange, and you're drinking and you're celebrating, you're dancing. It looks very fun. So I would love to go to one of them, one of those celebrations. But also, I didn't know that they had the ice skating race. It wasn't clear to me once because they said it ended. Well, not it ended. The last time that it was that they could do it was a bunch of years ago. But before that, I can only assume like you did it like throughout the whole day. Maybe it took them like 2 days. Do they have like stops? What was the logistics of it all? It was, I think, 22 kilometers, which I think like it's not so bad, right? 22 kilometers is not like it could be done in a day, right? I'm not crazy. I mean, I know that technically like is your ice skating like is a little bit different. It's gonna take you a couple of hours, which I think, okay, yeah, sure, of course, it's gonna take me like a few hours, more than a couple. It's like a few hours, but again, it's like yes, it looks like a very fun thing to do. But again, it's like, did you have like a stop? Like everyone stops at night. It's just one day. You start very early, and then and you end up at like 5 or 6, or used to like you ended up at like 5 or 6 p.m. And did you have could you stop, or you couldn't? It was just like the last man standing. Like you have to go and you have to do the 22 kilometers like on one go. I again would love to know the logistics. Like, don't you stop to like have lunch? Because it's like, well, and you're also like, again, you're like consuming a lot of calories, so you must be starving. It's like, and I need a little bit of a break for my legs because it looks like a tiresome thing. I've never ice skated like for that long before, so I wouldn't know, but I would assume like any sort of like physical activity that's sort of like strenuous and with your legs, like as in like hiking or doing some sort of like physical activity when you're like using your legs, it's like it's gonna get tiresome at some point. It's like, yes, I'm like I have endurance and I worked my way up to this, but still I'm a little tired and maybe like I want to take a break, especially if it's like so many hours. I would expect for you to like, I have to take a break for lunch. I pause, I take a breather, have a little like, I stop for like half an hour, and then I like continue on my path to the actual thing. I like it because it's like a circuit. It's like a Formula One race or one of those like car races, but it's like, no, but you're ice skating, which I think sounds incredible. But again, I can see like, again, the logistics must have been a nightmare because it's like it was through the whole country, so it's like a little bit of like, how are we actually organizing this? And also I can see why it would be dangerous because you have to like see like the ice has to be thick enough in all those cities, which I think it could be like quite a feat. Like I would assume there was like, again, 60 years ago that wasn't a problem, maybe, or it tended not to be a problem. But of course, this like in the modern age, like we have global warming and everything like's getting warmer, so the winters are not going to be like that. So it's a sad thing. That is like, so it's so funny. They're like, the villages were sort of like competing. They're competing to the like, oh, I'm ice skating first because the ice finally like is thicker. It's like, well, it's not my fault. I'm sorry. Like, don't blame me for this. The other thing, and again, I'm guessing during the winter, I always say I associate like Christmas with winter. Well, winter with Christmas, not the other way around. So I would love to go to one of those. And also, of course, I want to know more about the Sinterklaas situation. It's like, is it during literally like Christmas Eve, or do they celebrate this like in some other like during like November, during December? Would love to know. I've never heard of this before in my life. It's like Santa was inspired by this guy, this saint. I don't even know. Is this based on a real story or is it all legend? And why did it change? Like, how come? Well, no, I'm something stupid. It's like, no, I know that Santa Claus technically it's a saint, right? Like, I think that's the basis of this. But why the name change? Is it the same? Like, do they have the same history? Because I know that technically, like, yes, for Catholics, like that's a saint, and that's why it's called Santa Claus. But obviously, like when you're celebrating normal Christmas, unless you're like very religious, you're like, oh no, it's Santa. He comes from the North Pole, so it is. So again, I would love to know how those like things like mixed together and why was it a Dutch thing? Like that's how the whole Catholics like thing started. Like, oh yeah, like even when does the church celebrate Santa? I do not know, but now I have so many questions. But do they like do that? Like, does the church like celebrate Santa during December, like 25 and 24, maybe Christmas Eve, but do they like are basing that story in this one? Oh yes, like there was a saint that came to the Netherlands and he came from Spain on a horse. Like, do the Catholic, like does the church has like that same story, or is it no, it's adapted, like they adapted, it's something else, and in the Netherlands they have this, and it's like three different stories. You have like the North Pole, you have Spain, and you have God knows what from the the Vatican. I'm thinking of like the church, and I'm thinking the Vatican, but I don't know, like again, I'm a little bit clueless about this. So again, we love to know the history behind those like three traditions, and how, because obviously they're similar. They're technically based on the same person, but was he a real guy? It wasn't a real guy. Did he actually existed? He was Dutch. I have so many questions. And again, do also like because when you're like during Christmas, of course, if you celebrate Christmas, if you're Jewish, no, you're not celebrating Christmas, or you have other types of religion. But if you celebrate Christmas, it's not related with being Catholic. You just like celebrate it because you have other religion, or maybe you're agnostic or whatever. But you just celebrate Christmas. When you're like putting up the Christmas decorations and stuff, it's obviously the very like, oh, it's Santa has to be like very prominent. So I'm wondering, like, I think that's a worldwide thing. Like everyone uses the sort of like the imagery of Santa. But I'm wondering then if they have their own thing, and they have Santa Claus. Like I already forgot the guy's name. Santa Claus. So do they celebrate, like, do they have the imagery of Santa Claus instead of Santa Claus in like their houses? Like when they're putting up like the Christmas decorations, they have Santa Claus. They don't have Santa. And do they have the whole thing of like he goes down the chimney, or do not have that? Or do they have both? I think it would be a little strange maybe to have like two guys that share a lot of similarities. That would be a little, and brings presents. But maybe this Santa guy, Santa Claus, maybe he doesn't bring presents. So it maybe it may be so, and also maybe it's another day. So maybe it's not that weird that it's like, yes, it's a guy with sort of like similarities, but they're not the same. So we have like those 2 days, and we celebrate them in different days, and it's okay. And also, like, do children believe in Santa? Like, is it a thing of like, oh, Santa Claus, if you're being naughty, like Santa Claus is not gonna give you like it's gonna bring you coal, or maybe something similar. So I would love to know the specifics of it all, because again, I've never heard of this, and I would love to know how people celebrate Santa Claus, and if it's both, and if they have like, if I go to a Christmas decoration, like, oh, I'm putting up Christmas, I'm looking for Christmas decorations in the Netherlands, am I gonna find Santa Claus and not Santa Claus? And it's just like the guy with the sort of like the pope hat, and I'm not gonna be able to find like little figurines with Santa. I again, so curious about this. I think those are like my two, like, clearly I could talk about this for hours, because I'm very intrigued. But also, like, the other things I think they're very, very interesting to me. I didn't know that the Napoleon one, Napoleon's brother, like, technically, again, they had to, like, thank France because of it, and things like, well, we have a king technically because of you. Crazy. And also in American independence, thank you, the Netherlands. So it's like, wow, a lot of things. And even Santa, apparently, like, there's like, wow, we all, like, as a society, and as the worldwide, everyone in all the countries, like owes a lot to the Netherlands, apparently. And I'm talking about like the cultural things again, like, oh, Santa, and they have like, again, independence, or the monarchy. But even then, of course, they have like the actual inventions. It's like, yes, the telescope, the microscope, and Bluetooth, and stock trading. Yes, of course, life would be very different if like they hadn't invented those things, which I think it's wild, because I didn't know that. And I think because I think that the Netherlands is more commonly known for like the tulips. Again, I already mentioned tulips, windmills, and like they're like, oh well, everyone bikes. So it is, and they're really like a green country. And also, I know that they're very into like science, but I didn't know like the actual specifics. And again, I didn't know that they had like such a huge history of their influence in so many places. Obviously, I know the New York one, but I didn't know about the others. So it is a little bit wild to me of like, wow, that's crazy. And lastly, I have to say, like, the pension system, that's how everyone should do it. Like, all countries should do this and should adapt this. I don't know, like, because again, pensions like work very differently depending on where you are. So maybe it's not feasible, but I think like we should definitely move towards like this, because I think it's great. The fact that the government like takes care of this the government is in the actual, like, the state, not the government, because the government is constantly changing, but the state, like, takes care of this, and you don't have to, like, calculate, oh, how much to put in, like, on my 401, or, like, again, how much money I have to save for retirement, and in what sort of, like, what kind of account do I have to open. Like, no, those are things. And how much should I save? Like, those are things that I think are very, like, headache inducing, and they're very stressful. And it's better if, like, again, if the state sort of, like, takes care of this for you, and it's like, no, we already deducted everything, like, we already deducted taxes, we already deducted, your pension fund, we already have everything taken care of, and this is, like, your salary, and this is, like, what you have to live. And it's like, yeah, well, thank you. And it's like I think it would feel like such a, I know, you're taking, like, the weight of everyone's shoulders, basically, because it's like, yes, we're taking care of this, and go live your life, and you don't have to we're dealing with this. And that's how it should be. At least that's what I think personally. But that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.